Hello everybody, welcome into the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays, live from Kansas Speedway, getting ready for the last race in the round of 16. Going to eliminate 8 drivers after tonight. Everybody looking to see if they can keep their championship hopes alive. Thank you all for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers down, getting ready to roll off the grid, so let's get right in to your starting grid here for the night. Starting on the pole, it's going to be Kenneth Redinger in the 24 machine to his outside. The highest starting playoff driver tonight, it's going to be John Lynch in the 90. Justin Parham will start third. Jay Stinson to his outside in fourth. Matthew Fritz back in fifth. Zach Stevens to his outside in sixth. Joey Hickox will start from seventh. Grant Turner back in eighth. Matthew Dyer in ninth. And it's Billy Davison rounding out your top 10. Regular season champ and rookie Chase Greer will start 11th. Robert Dudley back to his outside in 12th. Row 7, it's going to be David Traylor and Ryan Gomes. Riley Gomes just behind Ryan Gomes in 15th. Ronnie Morrison outside in 16th. Keith Prince, Sam Bout will make up row 9. It's DJ Madish and John Bell rounding out your top 20. Richard Hurst will start 21st. Blaze Richardson in 22nd. Russ Kilgore back in 23rd and rounding out the field here tonight. Taking a look at your race info, it's going to be the SPINO 210 here for the NOMA Truck Series, 140 laps, 70% fuel. Everybody's going to have 5 sets of tires laying in the pits. 1 fast repair. Stage 1 ends at the end of lap 30. Stage 2 at the end of lap 68. 3 green-white checkers if we need them. And a starting track temp of 77 degrees. Should be a lot of grip tonight race. These guys are going to be flying around this mile and a half, one of the fastest ones in all of stock car racing. And we are ready to go. Race 2 in the round of 8 underway. Green flag in the air at Kansas. Lap 1 complete. Kenneth Redinger holds the lead as they all dive down into turn 1. You see just how many lanes Kansas offers these drivers. We got some up top, some on the bottom, and some in the middle. Joey Hickox going to slide right in front of his teammate Jay Stinson in the 31 truck. And we know how good Hickox Racing is at these mile-and-a-halfs and super speedways. Kansas almost feels like a mix. I mean, we talked about it's a mile-and-a-half in length, but let's go up front here. In fact, take a ride on board and a look at the speeds right now for Kenneth Redinger as he rockets down the front straightaway. Actually go even a little bit further back to his teammate Justin Parham, who pulled a little bit of a draft, upwards of mid-180s. Getting down into turn 1, he's going to ride the middle line, try to keep some momentum. That's exactly what he does. Going down the back straightaway, going to have another look here on Kenneth. We'll see if he decides to take it. He doesn't. And looks like Kenneth changing up the line just a little bit now. Realized where that 19 was finding speed. And now he's going to take that line away as he stays up top for the moment. And I want to say I'm a little bit surprised about it. I mean, they're teammates, but at the end of the day, everybody's out here fighting for the trophy. And so no easy breaks going to be given. That is for sure. The 90 of John Lynch talked about it was your highest starting playoff driver here tonight, right next to Justin Parham. And he has fallen to third, but a good run early. Joey Hickox just behind. Kansas, a very, very tire-heavy saving track. From what I remember, I know it's been a little while, but the general rule of thumb in the trucks was stay on the bottom and save your tires for, I would say, probably about the first 15 laps. And then you move to the top as it starts to get a little bit more tight. But these stage breaks are what make these guys race that much harder. That first stage can be on lap 30. I don't know if these guys can make it all the way on fuel for 30 laps. It's going to be close. We'll have to see if we see any pit stops a little bit further back. Here's some side-by-side racing. That's Robert Dudley in the 49. And he is going to battle here with the 9 of Riley Gomes. Just in front of them, Chase Greer, Matthew Fritz going at it. No position to be gained, but you see a couple trucks utilizing that apron. You can do that here at Kansas. Go as far down as you want, no out of bounds. And so you go all the way down there. If you have a run, you take it, make it work. Ooh, we got one in the wall. Looks like that was Ronnie Morrison, I believe. And looks like he got it back going. Yeah, sure enough, the 69 machine. And that wall, a lot of guys call it wall glue. It seems like when you just slightly touch it, it just pulls you in. It's so hard to get out. You want to steer it as far left as you can. And it feels like you just can't get off of it. All of a sudden you do. It shoots the truck to the left. Going to be a very dangerous thing as, man, Blaze Richardson got together with one of the playoff drivers, Sam Boutwell, on the outside. That could have been disaster early for the 47. Slight bit of contact. Richard Hurst, he probably didn't like any of what he just saw right there. He'll try to work his way around these two guys. Richard, one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight as we ride on the nose. Getting a good view as he works the top line. The only problem is as far back as he stands right now, getting a lot of dirty air. Can't really get much front downforce on the 76 truck right now. And as he works through traffic, it'll get a little bit better. But man, just becomes so hard to start making up that track position once they get spread out. That's why the restarts are so aggressive. As we saw earlier, you move up a little bit further in the pack here, and in the 54 machine, David Traylor currently sitting not quite as far up as he would like to be, but not in a bad spot either in this battle, right around Chase Greer. Currently sits in that 11th spot. He is up 2 from where he started. Another one of our guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And down to the apron again goes Zach Stevens. Caught my eye there for a split second. Traylor, another one of the guys that is still fighting to make it to the round of 8. And let's bring that up for just a minute in the sense of, we talked about the round of 8. Right now we're on the round of 16. And usually you might hear it go down to the round of 12 and then the round of 8, but not for the NOMA trucks. These guys are going to jump right down to the round of 8, so we will eliminate 8 of the 16 that are still in the playoffs. And we'll take a look at the points here in just a couple laps, how that stands right now. Keith Prince in the 03 being scored down 5 laps. That's another one of the playoff drivers. Had a pretty rough go at it last week. Really needs a good run tonight. But you can see, yeah, he's having some internet issues, and I think that's part of the reason he is currently sitting 5 laps down. And so we'll see if the admins give him his laps back under one of these stage breaks. But yeah, it looks like he may have blinked out again. That's a really, really tough break for the rookie. Kenneth Redinger continues to lead his teammate, and now it looks like they're migrating to the bottom. So almost a little bit of an inverse of what we kind of expected here to start the race. Justin Parham dipping all the way down to the grass, trying to pull any sort of time that he can. And here you go. Both trucks going to the bottom. I'm not sure if they feel more comfortable there or what the deal is. You go back a couple positions. Looks like Matthew Dyer was the first man running the top, at least that time around. And if we go to TV2, give you a little bit of a better angle. Joey and Jay, the two teammates, still currently sitting bumper to bumper. Jay back in 6th, Joey just ahead of him in 5th. And yeah, looks like John Lynch may be running a little bit more towards the middle top line. But it's Matthew Dyer, the first guy really still committing to the top, and he is making some ground up. And if he gets around this 90 truck, it will put Grandstand Racing 1, 2, 3. And they're certainly looking to have a pretty good case of getting 2 out of their 3 guys to the round of 8. Kenneth Redinger, of course, last season's champion. Really surprised that we didn't get to call his name here tonight as being a playoff driver. Just didn't make enough races on the season. Not sure if he had some other things that he had going on, but I mean, we saw him dominant when he was here. Just wasn't here enough to quite make the cut. But you see, he still got it. Anytime he comes out here, he's fast. DJ Madish currently sitting back here in the 25 machine in 20th place. Down a spot from where he started, battling really hard right now with John Bell. There's Russ Kilgore just behind. A little surprised to see Russ struggling here tonight. He's another driver we know has speed on the mile and a half. Got the win a couple weeks ago in the All-Star race at Atlanta. And he's going to duck to the inside here of John Bell. But as you said, currently back outside of the top 20. See if he can make it up. That draft still keeping everybody at least within reach of each other. As it looks like your top 4, still top 5 make it, still separated by less than a second. And Joey Hickok's able to pull any gap closer together down the straightaways by running that top line. And it looks like John Lynch, Matthew Dyer still battling pretty hard. Lynch was able to hold off the charge from Dyer. And a slide job. That's what I think we're going to see a couple times here tonight. Haven't seen it just yet. But it would set itself up. Matthew Dyer would have to get right on the back bumper of John Lynch down the straightaway. Excuse me. Have enough of a run to take it down to the inside as soon as they get into the turn. And he would send it as far down as he could, shoot straight up the track, and hope that he could get in front of the 90 before the momentum on the top started to work. But right now he's staying really patient, just continues to ride in the footsteps of John Lynch. It looks like Joey and Jay have closed up on this battle. But all these guys fading just a little bit more from your leader, Kenneth Redinger, as Justin Parham still on the back bumper, only being scored 2 tenths behind. Justin gained that spot pretty quickly off the restart, but it is still Matthew Dyer and Riley Gomes, your two biggest movers in the top 10. Riley's up 7 spots from where he started, and Matthew Dyer is up 5 spots from where he started. And so as we talked about points for all these guys, and right now the way the points are looking after Michigan, Matthew Dyer currently being scored as the man at first. And of course, I mean, we saw him get the win last week, so no surprise to see it that way. Matthew Fritz second in the playoff battle. Sam Boutwell being scored third. A little bit of an underdog dark horse pick right there. Sam, though, with a really good run last week. Justin Parham sitting 4th in points. Riley Gomes 5th. Chase Greer back in 6th. Robert Dudley 7th. And right now, David Traylor, the last man in position to advance to the next round. He sits 8th. Richard Hurst, though, just outside of being to the good right now, currently sits in that 9th spot. And he did not have a great rate at Michigan. Lost quite a few positions. And it looks like he currently sits about 4 points back, I believe, from the cut. And then, of course, just behind Richard Hurst right now, the other man that's trying to make it in is Joey Hickox, Jay Stinson, John Lynch. Any of these guys, if they could find a win, you know it would give them a big jump in points and maybe enough to make it to this next round after the championship. I mixed that up a little bit. After the round of 8, we go straight to the championship for only 2 races in the round of 8, just as there was here in the round of 16. So you really got to make them count. Here we go. Going to get a pass for the lead. Justin Parham going to be the first man of the night to try the dive bomb on his teammate. And I think Kenneth maybe cut him a little slack. Maybe not, trying a crossover. Nothing doing there. So Justin Parham, sure enough, he will complete the pass, take over the lead here on lap 19. Took him about 20 laps to make it happen. But now that he's got the job done, it becomes a matter of can he hold on for another 12 laps when we cross the line this next time. Make it 11, actually. John Lynch in 3rd. Looks like he was able to pull away a little bit from Matthew Dyer. So now you ask yourself the question, was it a little bit of a cat and mouse game? Obviously, we know that Kenneth Redinger had a lot of speed, but you got to wonder, was Justin Parham maybe equal terms and just saving a little bit of tire? Because now that he has made that move and got clean air on the front of that 19 truck, he's pulling some gap right here. Got it up to 3/10, just over 3/10 of a second. And he is looking for more, as no pit stops yet from anybody, so far so good still. As we go back to Keith Prince, has returned out on track, but the internet issues, after we saw him blink out a second time, you see, has put him, looks like, all the way back now to 23rd position, and he is down 9 laps. I mean, he was sitting last beforehand. Man, that's a tough break. Again, we'll see if the admins decide to let Keith get some of, if not as many as he can, of those laps back here under caution. But not looking good for the O3's chance to make it to the round of 8. And speaking of playoff drivers, we got them all highlighted in yellow for you on the tower. And whenever we pop them up, they'll be in yellow. They got the P next to their name as well. And I'll tell you what, if you're in the chat, I got a little question here. This might be something we set up for next season. Would you rather just see the numbers highlighted in yellow with no P next to their name? I think I kind of like the idea of that a little better. Maybe we'll just leave the P next to their name for the driver cards. Nonetheless, Justin Parham still now 4/10 ahead. But all of a sudden, here comes John Lynch making his way around Kenneth Redinger down the front straightaway. And now we'll see if he can track down the 19. Man, you saw Parham really had to bail out of the throttle as he got down into 1. A lot of throttle time early running that top line. But as the run goes on, tires start to wear out. You still got to baby it into the corner. You get in too hot, cost yourself a lot of time. There you go. Looks like Parham's taking a little bit more of an aggressive entry in as he drives it up the track, trying to keep both left side tires right on that seam. That seam goes all the way around the track. I'll point it out for you. That's kind of the general, what you kind of base your line off of here at Kansas. If you're on the top right, not this seam up top, but the seam right below the white line. I wish I could circle it. There you go. Has his left sides on it right now. It's almost like you're pretending like that would be the apron on the bottom. You arc down to that in the middle of the corner so that you don't get too high. But again, it's kind of that playing with fire. We'll see a couple guys try to go a little bit higher as the run goes on. The higher you go, the more speed you're going to run. But again, you get just a little bit too high, and you're going to get yourself into trouble if you get into that outside wall. I already saw a couple guys in it so far here tonight. I think we're probably going to see a couple more before this thing's all said and done. But it is Justin Parham still leading the way. As there's a couple scuff marks, and John Lynch is going to add a couple more as he gets in the outside wall. I mean, look at the amount of momentum it cost him. Kenneth Redinger jumped to the bottom and just went absolutely flying by. And now that's brought Jay Stinson up to the back bumper of John Lynch. Looks like Jay was able to get around Matthew Dyer. Joey Hickox faded a couple positions here. Jay went in the right direction, Joey a little bit in the wrong direction. But both guys still inside the top 10 Looking for some stage points. Matthew Fritz, the other Hickox Racing driver in the playoffs, he's still inside the top 10 as well. And when they cross the line this next time, it'll be 5 laps to go in stage number 1. So I'm starting to think these guys should actually be good to make it the rest of this stage on fuel. Would have thought that we would have saw pit stops already if they weren't. As we take a look at the blimp cam, Justin Parham works his way around pit road. They don't have to worry about it now, but I can tell you pit road, it's a little bit tricky here at Kansas. Again, it's one of those tracks where it comes up on you in a hurry, and you're going so fast that you really got to make sure you're careful getting in that steep transition from the heavy banking down to the flat apron. See, it cost a lot of guys sometimes. I think we will see a pit stop potentially, if not during the second stage, definitely during the third, but I think we'll see one during that second stage, which is going to be 8 laps longer. We'll see how it's working for now. A couple positions back. There's Matthew Fritz in the 29 machine. The 9, Riley Gomes just below. Going to have to slide just behind the 29. He does that. That's a nice job playing it smart. And again, you can really see the maturity out of the guys in the playoffs, right? I mean, they know when it's time to race and when it isn't. No point in burning your tires up and potentially pulling guys further back up to the battle that you're in. In this case, Riley Gomes, Matthew Fritz looked faster. Just kind of let him go. Didn't battle him too hard for it. Gomes may have made a charge, just wasn't working, so he'll back off, try to slowly work his way back up there. And he'll try it again. Grant Turner back in 11th, still looking to break into the top 10. We know how strong Grant has been all season. Another one of our guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Actually, he's got both cams, the driver cam and the pedal cam. You take a look at the footwork here for the driver of the number 7. As you go through the corner, again, you don't really use any brake here at Kansas, more or less just letting off the throttle. And of course, as always, he's got his Ferrari wheel, GT wheel. Currently down 3 spots from where he started, so did not get the best restart. But we'll see if he can make up some positions as this thing goes on. Stage break going to be a chance for a lot of these guys. Of course, everybody going to come in, take fresh tires, refuel. But also maybe think about if they want to change their line or change their approach to the stage. Track temp looks like now at 78 as we are approaching. Well, actually, we already approached just over 8:30 here in sim time. So as Justin Parham continues to lead now, going to be 1 lap to go at the line this time in stage number 1. Kenneth Redinger still in chase, currently sits just under a second back. It'll be exactly a second as they cross the line that time. Jay Stinson trying to see if he can get around John Lynch, pick off one more position. That would be a big deal if he could get up to that 3rd spot here for this next restart. So as the battle up front, not much of a battle. Kenneth Redinger continues to close, but it's not going to be enough. Justin Parham into turn 3, and he's going to cruise it through this time. No point in pushing it any farther than he needs to. He'll come around. Had some speed last week, and he's going to have some more speed this week. Starting off strong, Justin Parham wins stage 1 at Kansas. And just behind him, here's the battle to the line. John Lynch is going to inch out one of his good buddies, Jay Stinson. I was getting ready to say teammate. But of course, John Lynch, not one of the Hickox Racing drivers. On SPINO Racing, him and Richard Hurst had a phenomenal season together. Both drivers with a win. John Lynch with multiple wins. And so he's able to hold on to that 3rd spot. Kenneth Redinger looks like the first non-playoff driver in the top 10. Finishes in 2nd. And it is going to be Matthew Dyer rounding out your top 5. Zach Stevens 6th. Joey Hickox 7th. Chase Greer back in 8th. Matthew Fritz in 9th. And there's Riley Gomes going to be rounding out your top 10. So everybody's going to catch the pace truck, come down, get the full service, tires, and fuel. And we will get ready to go back. Green flag racing for stage 2. Very clean early. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have a word here with the number 19 machine, Justin Parham. Stick with us. Back live at Kansas Speedway. Stage 1 wrapped up, getting ready for stage number 2. And joining us in the booth now is your stage 1 winner, Justin Parham. Justin, you got a copy?
Yeah.
All right, well, you're looking fast in stage 1. In fact, you and your teammate Kenneth Renninger both looking fast. You get the 1-2 finish. Man, I'll tell you what, we know you're currently sitting pretty good in points, 4th, but how sweet would it be to get a win here tonight?
It'd be good if I can just manage to stay up front and get the win. I know I'll be guaranteed into the round of 8. To where if I fall back or get wrecked out, there's no guarantees. But if you can win, it's a guarantee.
Well, we know that Kansas seems to be one of these tracks where everybody likes to run the top line. Now, that first run, we saw you take the lead 20 laps in. You got to save some tire. You kind of go for it right off the jump.
It really just depends on how the person you're racing is. Because you definitely want to try to save some because the tires go away pretty quickly, especially when you're running the bottom. That's why later in the run I stuck strictly to the high side.
All right, well, we see you got the 1 to go. Hey, we appreciate you talking to us. Congrats on the stage 1 win, and we'll see if we're talking to you again here at the end of stage number 2.
All righty, thank you.
All right, Justin Parham, letting you know there. And I'll tell you what, these guys might not say it, but I think maybe he didn't want to quite give away his full hands, and I know I put him in a little bit of an awkward spot there when I asked him about the tires, but, I mean, it's always cool for us to get to know up here in the booth. I mean, it certainly seemed like he might have saved some tire with how quick of a pass he made on his teammate Kenneth Renninger as late in the run as he did. And speaking of Kenneth, what has happened here? The driver of the 24 all the way back now in 19th position. So that'll change things up a little bit. That'll put Jay on the inside. John Lynch on the outside of row 1. Matthew Dyer. Zach Stevens going to be making up row 3. Pace truck pulls off. Back into the Geico restart zone. 35 laps complete. Green flag is back in the air. Good jump for Justin Parham getting down into turn 1. He will hold on to the lead. John Lynch just behind him. Jay Stinson back in 3rd. Matthew Dyer settling into 4th. And these 4 look to pull away from Manny Rays and going on out back. Chase Greer is going to be able to take that spot from his teammate Zach Stevens. And again, this stage set to end on lap 68. So actually, it looks like they'll only have to go, at least under green, about 2 to 3 laps more total distance. So it still might be really, really close on fuel. And if you saved enough or topped off under that caution, maybe that's what happened with Kenneth Renninger. That could be a thought. Again, not in the playoffs, can afford to gamble. And so maybe it was really close for these guys, and he decided to gamble. We'll have to find out. But as John Lynch is in 2nd, Parham pulling away here pretty quickly, already up to about a 0.3 of a second lead. But that draft is going to keep everybody within reaching distance here for a little bit as Joey Hickox giving you a perfect demonstration of how to pull off the slide job as he just did right there on Matthew Dyer. Now he's caught his teammate Jay Stinson. And we'll see how he decides to go about this one. Jay looking to get clear of that 90 truck. He does just that. So Jay Stinson will pick up 2nd. And now 1st to 7th, currently being made up of all playoff drivers. And it's Zach Stevens, the only guy not in the playoffs that's still in your top 10. Looking back in chat from earlier, saw a couple of these, forgot to read them, so I apologize for that. It looks like Nancy Hickox in here tonight. Good to see you, Nancy. Says, good evening, everyone. I'm wanting to see a good race. This series never disappoints. Certainly doesn't. We appreciate you being here. Mark Stevens as well says, let's go, Zach Stevens. And then the response to the question I had earlier, Nancy says, yes, Austin, I like the numbers in yellow. That's what I look for on the back of the cars to see who's running in the playoffs. And that's right. Forgot to note it just because it's one of those things where I feel like maybe you kind of ask yourself when you first see it, what does that mean? But yeah, sure enough. All these trucks that you see with the yellow banner on the front, the sun strip on the windshield, and then on the spoiler of the truck, that is your other indication of the drivers that are in the playoffs. And boy, you're seeing a lot of yellow strips, not only on the track, but on the tower as well right now inside the top 10. And it looks like Grant Turner is going to lose that 10th spot again here to Ronnie Morrison. So the 7 truck struggles continuing here a little bit. Matthew Fritz hanging inside the top 10. Ooh, that got a little close right there for a second between him and Ronnie Morrison. And if we take a look from the chopper view, Joey Hickox has moved up to 2nd. And I don't think Joey's taken the approach of saving much at all here. He looks like he has been full hammered down since the drop of the green. And he is continuing to try to chase down Justin Parham, at least keep him in reaching distance. And I feel like that's another strategy these guys could try here tonight. We've seen it before. You just try to pull up to a guy at a track where you know you can using that draft. And then once you get up there and you know that he can't just easily pull away, his caution's out. So we'll hold that thought for just a moment. Grant Turner's involved. He gets back rolling. Looks like some more people in this one. David Trailer. We got a mess here. There's the 54. Can't tell if there's any damage yet. Robert Dudley, another one of the guys involved. The 49 truck. Ooh, he does have a little damage. Looks like at least on the right front. In fact, is his suspension maybe off too? Yeah, oh, his suspension's heavily damaged, so he hit something pretty hard. And so Robert Dudley involved. We saw David Trailer. Looks like Billy Davison might have been the other guy that was potentially involved. The 88 truck looks fine. Again, not sure exactly how this caution happened. We were on board with Joey at the time. And so we'll go check it out. Finishing that thought, though, real quick before we do take a look at it here was with Joey Hickox. I feel like he's in position in that, just in general, where you get up to the guy, and once you're there, you know that they're not going to be able to just easily pull away because of the draft. So you just kind of stay within reaching distance, save a little tire, and work from there. Okay, here we go. Grant Turner, Robert Dudley, all running close to each other here. This is off of 4. Yikes. 22 up into the 7 after getting turned around the wrong way. 22 hard into the wall. Yeah, that's Ryan Gomes. I'm surprised he was able to drive away from that one as easy as he was. So this is actually going to start here with a pretty severe net code between the 22 of Ryan Gomes and the 49 of Robert Dudley. So trouble for a couple playoff guys, but here you go. I mean, that's definitely some severe net code. You can see the trucks. They weren't even touching at this point. It's one of those things. Interestingly enough, iRacing hates on official broadcasts. They'll never call it out when you see something like this. Right here, this is where the game initiates that they're touching each other. You can see they're clearly not. But that's all it took. Sends the 22 around. He gets into the 7 of Grant Turner. That'll send Grant around for a spin. And then up the track, there's the hard contact for the 22, and the 49 rips the front end off of the 22. He gets it back as he drives along. But then Grant Turner looks like the only guy that actually came to a halt through all this. We take a little bit of a different angle. And man, a lot of guys diving through the grass. That was Trailer. Ooh, DJ Madish late trying to find a way to avoid it. Couldn't do it. Grant slided in the middle of the track. And fortunately, yeah, DJ just could not quite find a way around. T-bones him. That's a pretty big hit for both of those trucks. And to some credit, while I do call it, I mean, obviously, netcode is what there was, but I think these two were going to make contact, right? I mean, we take another view here from TV3. You see the 22 coming up. I mean, he maybe starts to straighten that out, but it's just really tight racing, and I think they're going to make some contact even if they don't have the contact from the netcode. But then after is the secondary contact, and that's the big one that's really going to cause some problems. So we'll take a couple more angles of it. Here's it from pit lane 2. Switches over to pit lane 1. You see it there in the distance. And we'll take one more shot of this here from the blimp cam as this all starts up. Blaze Richardson did a really nice job of avoiding it. I mean, that was really, really close. But then DJ Mattis, we talked about, just nowhere to go a lot of times. In fact, it's actually right on board on his roll bar here. And you'll see just how hard it is to see it coming as a driver. Sees him spin. It's going to try to shoot the gap. Just picks the wrong lane. And that crumples up the front hood. So he'll have to go in for repairs. And so up front, John Lynch actually being scored as your leader. A little bit of a strategy mix here maybe. John Lynch with the lead. Sam Boutwell being scored second. David Trailer third. Justin Parham fell back to fourth. Kenneth Redinger up to fifth. And it's going to be Billy Davison in sixth. Jay Stinson seventh. Riley Gomes in eighth. Richard Hurst back in ninth. Joey Hickox in 10th. And Zach Stevens back in 11th. Chase Greer 12th. Ronnie Morrison 13th. Matthew Dyer 14th. Russ Kilgore rounding out your top 15. Expecting that we should get the one to go as Mitchell Stevens says, let's go Zach Stevens. And we'll see if we do indeed get the one to go this time. It looks like we do. So these guys will all double back up, get ready for the green flag to come back out. And I mean, hey, first caution of the night. And again, it's just really hard racing. So that's nothing that I would really put on these guys. Nobody should feel too bad about that one. Hard racing, but it's been a lot of good racing so far tonight. That's what we like to see. And so with this restart, it looks like, so they'll go green here on lap 46. And that's going to put them at exactly 23 laps until the end of stage number 2. So now we know for sure that everybody's going to be good to go on fuel. It's going to be a full sprint from here to the finish of stage number 2. For anybody that's just tuning out or has been watching tonight, we certainly appreciate you being here. A reminder that the NOMA Gen 6 Series is going to be starting up on Thursdays. I believe it's in December. Still getting some things worked on with that, checking things out, but certainly going to be a cool series no matter what the deal is with it. Gen 6, really, really cool cars. I know some people love them, some people hate them, but I don't know. I like them better than the next gens, I can tell you that much, and I haven't really got to see a Gen 6 series around very many places, so excited for it. Man, the Truck Series never disappoints, does it? Here we go. Pace Truck making the hard left turn again. 46 laps when we cross the line, complete. Green flag is back in the air. It's a good jump for John Lynch. Sam Boutwell trying to hang even, not going to be able to do it. And man, I'll tell you what, it baffles me. Just about every restart that we see, these guys have to go on green, at least from the knowledge that I have. And yet every time, the leader gets such a big jump. Not sure how second usually is never able to catch it. They always feel like they get caught sleeping. And further back, they're going to fan out 3 wide. Ooh, Ronnie Morrison tried to look to the middle on the outside right there of Zach Stevens. Couldn't quite get there, so Zach will retain the position from the 69. Joey Hickox working the top line. They're going to come off of 4 side by side. Man, Richard Hurst, that was a big moment for the 76. He got really loose. That looked like it was not going to end too well. He was able to hold on, so they keep it clean. Riley Gomes now shooting the gap as he goes through the middle. And he'll have to tuck in line behind the 76 on the bottom. Billy Davison, Zach Stevens just behind. There's Ronnie Morrison and Joey Hickox still side by side. And it looks like Matthew Dyer now, the man that's gotten buried in traffic, currently runs behind Chase Greer, seeing if he can fight his way through all this chaos. And a lot of guys diving to the apron now. Everybody utilizing whatever part of this track they can. You got to make position where you can get it. Jay Stinson looking to the bottom of Justin Parham. This is the first time tonight that we have seen the front pack look the way it is. I mean, this looks like we're at Daytona or Talladega, side by side, just about bumper to bumper through the corners. I think Redinger is only going to be so patient for so long. Watch for that 24 to split 3 wide if he gets the chance. Problem is, he's caught in dirty air right now. Sam Boutwell looking for a side draft. He'll jump back up. And they're going to stay side by side now as we complete lap number 49. John Lynch, he's able to make that high line work because the momentum he carries down the straightaway. But if David Traylor gets clear, got to think that 54 takes it here and jumps up. That's exactly what he's going to do. How about David Traylor out in front at Kansas? Needing a good run here tonight. He's going to get a push right there from John Lynch. The only thing I think maybe not the best thing here is he opens the bottom up to Kenneth Redinger. And man, look at the speed that Kenneth is able to roll on the bottom. My goodness, able to get right alongside the door of David Traylor and maintains it down the straightaway. Jay Stinson in the middle as Riley Gomes looks to the bottom. He's got a rocket ship all of a sudden. That's going to cost Parham a position as he tucks back in line now on the inside. And so right now, your top 10 continuing to race really hard. I think maybe part of this product right now is these guys realizing they're not going to have to save nearly as much tire now with this restart only being about 23 laps to go. So everybody just jumped right on the accelerator and it was go time. And now they know it's under 20 laps to go. But Kenneth Redinger was able to reclaim the lead. Jay Stinson gets around David Traylor as well. And so now Kenneth will go to work. Going to try to control both of these lines. Goes to the inside. That'll hurt Riley Gomes further back. Oh, man, the 88 it looks like. Billy Davison, I thought he was starting to get a little loose right there. I think it was just the way it looked being in the middle of traffic right here. Joey Hickox on the inside just behind him. There's the rookie Chase Greer looking to the outside of Robert Dudley. But again, everybody has looked really stable so far here tonight, for the most part at least. When we've been 3 wide, track temp going to drop another grease. We got one around. That's going to be the 76. Excuse me, the 18 rather of Blaze Richardson. Thought it was Richard Hurst at first. And he's still trying to hang on to this thing. He gets into the grass again. He's going to get it back up to speed. Watch out. Oh, up top, man. What a close call right there for Grant Turner. Ooh, his heart had to skip a beat. Man, oh man, was that close. And they all keep it together. But what in the world happened there to Blaze Richardson? I'm thinking there had to be some contact that sent this 18 down into the grass. Let's take a look. And he was running back just inside the top 20. Yeah, there is contact. See, that's Billy Davison in the middle. And I thought Billy got loose a couple corners ago. I'm thinking right here was the same. Yeah, you see him. He actually starts to go down. And I think he realizes pretty quick here that there's a truck down there. Or, like I said, if he was getting loose. No, he's loose. Watch the truck. Comes off of 4, and look at the back end, just sliding out on him. And right here, he's able to get it corrected, and he does straighten it back out. Unfortunately, though, again, looks like a little bit of that net code on the left door. of Billy Davison to the right door of Blaze Richardson. Blaze gets out of whack, and tell you what, he does a good job though here. When you get out of control like that, he had two choices there. If he keeps it to the right, he goes back up the track. Instead, he steers it back left, goes for a wild ride off-road, but he's able to save it right here, though. Man, that was a close call for Grant Turner, as when you get in that grass, it's so hard to get it woed up, and tell you what, that could have been a whole lot worse. Let's back this up. Didn't mean to go quite to that view of it here. Let's ride on board with Grant Turner as he sees this whole thing progress from start to finish. There's Blaze going through the grass, and at this point, if you're Grant Turner, you see him coming up, and right here you're saying to yourself, okay, he's fine. Sees him go in the grass, forgets all about it here. Working his way through the turn, nothing. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, that certainly scares you as a driver. Saw the post right in his way, couldn't see it. But how about Riley Gomes? Been a pretty good season, no wins. But man, if he could get one here tonight, that would be huge. And we know he likes Kansas. And right now, he is on a mission. Jay Stinson also taking second spot away now from Kenneth Redinger. But once the 9 got around that 24, he has set sail here. Almost half a second between him and second place Jay Stinson. Now they will come to, it's going to be, looks like 12 laps to go in the stage. So Kenneth Redinger continuing to try to just hold as much position as he can until we get to the stage again. I think some of these guys may be on varying strategies. I think right now it might be something to do with Riley Gomes, maybe Jay Stinson as well, having fresher tires than that 24 truck. But either way, whether they do or don't, they certainly are showing a lot of speed. As there's a 19 looking to the inside here of Chase Greer. I think Parham's starting to fade a little bit. And some of these guys that are fading, you got to remember, these are the guys that were racing really, really hard when the green flag came back out. So if they were to all be on the same tires, or even if they were slightly different, you wonder if they're taking notes right now, thinking to themselves, maybe I burnt my stuff up just a little bit too much. Have to be a little bit easier on them for this final stage when we get to it. But it's a long race here tonight, right? I mean, 210 miles, 140 laps. Laps do go by pretty quick here at Kansas. These guys still, again, have a lot of racing left. And speaking of laps, lap times for your two leaders pretty fast, but it's been Jay Stinson who caught this last lap, and he caught it in a pretty big way, almost a tenth of a second, which is a lot here at Kansas when he was only running about half a tenth behind. Now he's going to look to the inside of Riley Gomes. That time you saw he ran 2.5 tenths faster. And Riley going to move up the track here a little bit, play defense. And it doesn't look like Jay is going to be able to work his way around, at least not yet. He'll have to tuck back in line. So as Riley Gomes surges out ahead, coming around to take a lap 60 this time. And I don't think we really see anybody try any strategy of pitting right here just before the stage and taking tires. I think it's a little bit too much of a risk. You potentially go a lap down, and you certainly wouldn't want that to happen, especially if you're one of these playoff drivers where you can't quite afford to gamble as much, at least not if you're currently looking pretty good to advance to the round of 8. And back here, Justin Parham said he just wanted to stay near the front right now. A little bit of struggles with it, but again, it's for a stage. I think he's got speed. I think this is just strategy that's kind of throwing him off of his game right now, but currently sits just behind Ronnie Morrison outside the top 10 back in 12th. And he is down 9 from where he started. Russ Kilgore, your biggest mover inside the top 10. He sits 9th and is up 14 positions from where he started. So Russ going in the right directions, but it's Riley up 14 spots as well as he continues to fend off Jay Stinson. And these two have absolutely checked out from everybody else. The next closest running truck is going to be Jay's teammate Joey Hickox. Currently sits in 3rd. You saw him in the same camera view there just briefly, but he currently sits about a 1.5 seconds back. And if you're Jay here, again, it's really hard to decide how to make the move. He's looking to the inside, able to get clean air on that truck. The only problem is that inside doesn't work too well if you're not able to get clear halfway through the corner. Exit is where Jay really loses a lot of his speed, but he tries to go up top here, gets caught in a little bit of the dirty air of that 9 truck. But man, Riley really, really slinging it around the wall right now. Up top, it looked like the back end was going to scrape right there. But that's the risk versus reward you got to take. Riley knows he really could use a win here tonight if he wants a good chance to make it to the round of 8 next week. So he's willing to lay it all out there. Stage point's certainly going to be your friend, but there it is. Knew it was coming sooner or later as he makes some slight contact off of turn 4. This is going to pull Jay Stinson back up into the picture as he gets a big draft off the back bumper of the 9. And Riley really sent in their defensive line. Did he wash up a little bit too much? Looks like he was able to keep it under him. But wearing a lot of front tire, right front specifically right now. If you're Riley Gomes, And I think Jay Stinson right here is just waiting in the shadows, waiting to pounce. He knows how many laps we got left. Going to be coming to 5 to go this time, and he knows, I think Jay is actually a little better than the 9. Here we go. He's got another look. Will he take it to the outside or the inside? Gets right on the back bumper. Now he's going to jump to the outside. Riley goes with a late block. He's able to make it work. Jay has to tuck back down in line. And boy, what a sequence of events that was coming down the front straightaway. I thought Jay had him when he jumped to the outside, but just couldn't quite get to the quarter panel and side draft him back. And so Riley was able to jump back up. He'll hold on for another lap. And even with all this battling, these two have still managed to pull away from third place, which continues to be Joey Hickox. He's got Zach Stevens running pretty close to behind, looking to see if he can make a move. Chase Greer, Zach Stevens' teammate, trying to get up there as well. And here's the move. Jay looking to the inside. Will he try the slide job here? Goes all the way to the bottom, but oh man, Jay just didn't quite fully commit. Now he does, but it's too late. Off of 2, he's got to bail out of the throttle. This is phenomenal. Here it was 65 laps completed at Kansas. Jay's going to try it again. No move yet. In fact, let's hop on the onboard. We might get a chance to see him in action right here. And so right there, stays alongside the 9. And if he's able to stay close right here, he's got to dive down in turn 1. Not going to be able to do it. He'll hop back in line. But we talked about the slide job. Jay had a chance a couple laps ago in turn 1, but he didn't take it. Again, as soon as you get it, the goal is to stay up top. And you almost create that arc earlier in the corner, so you dive down all the way to the bottom. As soon as you get on entry, you stay committed to the throttle, and you just hope that you can get far enough out in front to get clear. And then, of course, the truck naturally going to slide up the track. You try to throw on the brakes, keep the guy behind you. But nothing doing yet for Jay. 2 laps to go here in the stage. And still waiting to see if Jay is going to have enough of a draft here to maybe give this another shot. Riley Gomes still able to hold on, running that top side. It seems like Riley maybe a little bit better in 1 and 2, but just as I say that, Jay was able to get his nose out in the clean air just a little bit on the left side. As they work their way through 3 and 4, this time it'll be coming to 1 lap to go in the stage. How much is Jay Stinson willing to lose here and going for some stage points? I know Jay's a pretty conservative guy. I'm thinking he's probably going to feel okay with second. Certainly not going to give up on your leader, but not going to do anything too crazy that's going to cost him too much. As we say that, white flag is in the air for stage number 1. 2 more sets of corners to go for Riley Gomes. Can he hold on? Jay tucking to the inside again, looking for any sort of run he can get. Now Riley Gomes is going to try to break the draft down the back straightaway. Final time to 3 and 4. Jay, is he going to try to think different? He is. Jumps to the bottom. 31 wrapping as tight of a line as he can. It's not going to be enough. Off of turn 4, Riley Gomes fends off the charge. He will win stage number 2 at Kansas. Just behind them, a little bit of a battle to line for a couple of these guys. As the further back you go, the more spread out they are. Caution is out. And it was Jay Stinson bringing home second, and his teammate Joey Hickox rounding out the podium here for stage number 2. But what a call for Riley Gomes, and now has himself in good position. And if he can cycle back out to lead for this final stage, certainly would not count the 9 out of your picks for guys that could get the job done here with a win tonight. And so just as we did with stage 1, as these guys all come in to get full service, tires and fuel, we will step aside. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. When we come back, we'll try to get a word from your stage 2 winner, Riley Gomes. Stick with us. Back live at Kansas Speedway, stage 2 complete. And your winner for it, none other than one of the playoff drivers, Riley Gomes. I think we got him up here in the booth now. Riley, this is Austin. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin.
All right, well, you get the job done in stage 2. Man, you look like a rocket ship. I got to ask you, when we had that caution, was there a little bit of strategy play that got you out front?
Yeah, it took 4 tires. I think some people didn't. I think Jay was one of them, because once we got out front, we kind of just started walking away from P3 and P4. So I think the new tires really helped there.
Well, not only did it help you get the stage win, but it also puts you in really good position for this final stage. Now, a lot longer of a stage, but with how important clean air was, how hard do you battle for the lead right here?
That's a great question, because fuel's going to come into play here. I think some people are going to try to stretch that fuel out and make it a one-stop deal. I think some people are going to push it hard and just commit to 2 stops. So I don't know. We'll see. If Jay gets a good start here, we might just settle in and start figuring out from there. Yeah, anyways, it's been a fun race so far, and hopefully we can have a good finish here.
All right, well, I appreciate you filling in there for me for just a moment. I had a little issue going on. So, hey, thanks for giving us a quick word, Riley, and we'll see if we see you at the end of this race. How cool would it be to get your first win in the playoffs here tonight?
It would be awesome. I'm just hoping for a decent finish. If we could put it on the podium, I'd be ecstatic.
All right, well, we'll let you go. 1-to-go signal. Good luck in stage 3.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, and there you go. And Riley got the awkward interview experience there. Wasn't planning to go that way, but had a quick audio issue. We appreciate Riley improvising. Did a good job of it right there. We'll see if he can improvise on this restart right here and reclaim the lead. Jay just a little bit better through the pits. Row 2 lining up. Looks like it's going to be Zach Stevens on the inside. Boy, he's had a ton of speed here tonight. Seems like every week, man, you can never count out Zach. We've seen him on the podium a couple times. Still looking for that first win. But man, oh man, that 21, if either of these leaders slip, watch for him to dive 3 wide, maybe take the lead. Final stage underway. Green flag in the air. 74 laps complete at Kansas. And it's another really good jump, this time for the outside. Interesting choice, but I actually like that call from Jay to choose the outside. And the first time we saw it tonight, and it worked well. Riley Gomes got caught sleeping a little bit. And unfortunately, looks like he's going to lose second right here to Kenneth Renninger. Tries to slot in line, but Zach Stevens having none of it either. He will take that position away on the outside as they dive into turn 3. Side by side coming out of turn number 4. You never know, could potentially be the final restart of the race. I think that's why we're seeing so much aggression right here as they rock it all down into turn 1 again. I want to zoom this out a little bit. Take a look at the blimp cam. Still 2x2 again. Again, we saw this during the last restart, and it seemed like it kept the racing side by side longer, but then when they got separated in a hurry. Chase Greer on the inside in the 40, furthest he's been towards the front so far here tonight. And you shouldn't be surprised saying that. You knew that your regular season champion would know how to find a way to get to the front when it mattered most. And I think Riley Gomes is saving a little bit of tire. We heard him talk about fuel as well. I think just in general he's saving right here is ooh. Not sure how Jay Stinson lost the lead right there to Kenneth Renninger, but he lost it in a hurry. 31 on the top and the 24 looking to try to pull away. Joey Hickox making another move to the inside just behind him. The 4 of Russ Kilgore. Again, not having too bad of a night anymore. We talked about earlier a little bit of struggle, but now inside the top 10 again as he'll slide up a little bit. The 49 of Robert Dudley on his outside. And so as we take a look at when we would expect that final pit stop, at least if you were planning on making it a 1 stop, I would have to think maybe somewhere, oh man, that was almost some contact right there between Dudley and Kilgore. Kilgore had to bail out of it big time. But I'd have to think that final pit stop would come right around maybe lap 100. I'm going to go ahead and call it broad to start and say anywhere between lap 100 and 110. Maybe to make it a little bit more narrow, right around lap 105. And that would give these guys, they'd be able to go about 35 laps on fuel. I think it actually maybe has to be a little closer to 110. But either way, we heard some guys maybe try to make it. We'll have a good idea on if they will based on when they decide to pit. Certainly doesn't look like Kenneth Renninger has any plans on saving fuel right now. 3/10 out in front of anybody else, and he's trying to pull away a little bit right here down the back straightaway. Joey Hickox, the number 3 truck, back in 3rd place. Been a decent night for Joey. He's been up and out of the top 5 for most of the night. As you go back side by side, not so much to the front, but definitely still back here. 3 wide as that's Justin Parham on the inside now of John Lynch. This is going to get tight down into turn 1. And ooh, Parham cut Lynch a huge break right there. Don't think Lynch really had that position, but you saw Parham saw it coming, bailed out of the throttle, and he is going to live to fight another day. But I'm thinking he's not going to cut John that big of a break next time. I think John maybe he's going to have to say, I'm sorry about that. I'll give you a little help. Towards the back, Grant Turner back in 21st. Remember, he was involved in that caution earlier. Didn't really get any damage from it. And the truck looks clean, but again, really struggling right now is the 7 truck. I do have to think part of this is him saving fuel. And I'll tell you what, we know that Grant is one of the guys that carries a driver cam and listens to the broadcast. So I'll tell you what, Grant, if you're saving some fuel right now, give us a little signal or something on the broadcast about it here, because we know the 7 has more speed than that. I'm curious what's got him back here. In fact, I guess more than that, we can take a ride on board. Yeah, you hear the throttle. Yeah, he's not full right now. Certainly seems like, yeah, there you go. Giving the signal. So we'll have to see how it all pans out here. Sneaky way going about it as we go back up front. Kenneth Redinger, 81 laps complete, still leading just behind Riley Gomes, back to 2nd. I think the 9 was maybe trying to save a little bit there right at the start. Didn't like the way it was going. Said, well, I'm going to forget this. I got to go. And all of a sudden now he's going to try to track back down your leader. Chase Greer has shuffled to 3rd. Don't really know what he's got here tonight. Again, first time that we've seen him in the top 3. Driver out of Johnsonville, South Carolina. Looking, I mean, it's already been an impressive season. Regular season champ. I mean, you got to assume that automatically gives him Rookie of the Year as well. And looking to see if he can make a round of 8 berth. Joey Hickox, Jay Stinson saw these two bumper to bumper at the start of the race. Here comes Justin Parham. Everybody should be on new tires. I'm not sure if Jay was not here or just struggled saving. It's so interesting how on one restart some of these guys can be so much faster than others, assuming that they were to be on the same thing. As there's a pretty cool view of them all zooming by you, but just not really sure right now where the speed is gone for the 31 truck. Justin Parham on the other side of that, though, we talked about it's been making a lot of speed right now. Is Blaze Richardson. Looks like he may have taken another detour through the grass at some point. The 18 still looks good, but let's see when this was. And oh, there you go, John Lynch, big checkup, my goodness. And Blaze got sent through the grass. He's getting a good feel for it tonight. You could tell, been through there once, does a little dirt track, and this time was able to control it. Gets right back on track, never missed a beat. So as we do go back on track towards the front, highest running guy that we have right now that is carrying an onboard camera for us is Richard Hurst. Currently sits in the 13th position. +8 from where he started. He's got Ronnie Morrison heating up his back bumper. Sam Boutwell currently looking to the inside. And I remember Sam had a good run last week, looking pretty good in points, so just really needs a solid run here tonight. And right now, I think he's got to make up a couple more positions than where he stands. I think if he can get a top 10 finish, his odds would be looking pretty good. But, man, it's going to be really, really close right now with that 14th spot that he's running at. Still up 4 from where he started, though. So has gone in the positive direction overall tonight. And I know we keep bringing up the round of 8, so we might as well talk about the 2 tracks that we head to for the round of 8. And 2 really good tracks here for the round of 16. But the round of 8, we're going to go to actually have an off week after this. So next week, no racing. But then after that, the round of 8 gets kicked off with Las Vegas. Off week after that. And then Chicagoland as the last of the 2 races in the round of 8. Championship race going to be at Texas Motor Speedway. But talking about Las Vegas and Chicagoland a little more. Las Vegas, the racing is absolutely phenomenal there, especially for probably about the first 15 laps of any run. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side, bumper-to-bumper, guys passing, almost similar to what you would see at a track like New Atlanta. But then as that run wears out, if you didn't save tire, man, it bites you so bad there. You won't believe it until it actually happens. But once everybody single files out, it becomes so hard to make a pass. So I think that was going to be interesting in that sense. And then when we go to Chicagoland, that's where the championship race was last season. Saw a lot of good racing there. Expecting to see more of the same this season. And the championship 4 at Texas Motor Speedway, another one that's going to be a really, really good track. Going to be fun to watch. We'll see how all these guys are able to perform at it. And there's the 40 truck of Chase Greer going to reclaim the lead. Or excuse me, third. I meant to say reclaim third right there. And Back here in 4th, Joey Hickox. Got sidetracked there. I don't know what that whole line that I just spewed was, so ignore that. Chase Greer had been running 3rd for a little while. My brain just had a little bit of a moment there, but as we go back, Sam Boutwell is still battling. We did just see him in 14th, and that's where he still stands now, but he's trying to pick up another spot here. 15th, 14th, and now not quite going to get to 13th as Richard Hurst holds him off. Fens on the outside. Matthew Fritz, been inside the top 10 most of the night, now finds himself in 16th. Again, you just got to wonder about all the differing strategies going on, and as much as I like what he's trying to do right here, I don't know about this call from Grant Turner. He's lost so much time. In fact, he's lost exactly half a track already worth of time, and at a certain point, I mean, I don't know if the way he's setting it up, he would have to save on the second run or not. If he didn't have to save on the second run, then I think maybe the strategy still works. However, if on that second run he still has to save fuel, I think that's going to be just too much time lost to guys that are going to be able to go full out 100%. But still doing all he can. It looks like David Traylor is on the same strategy, and you can tell it's definitely not the way he certainly wants to be doing things. But David, another guy that felt like maybe kind of had to roll the dice here tonight. And it looks like, ooh, there you go. I haven't seen somebody try a strategy quite like that in a while. A little bit risky. Most guys just like to put the clutch in and roll a little bit. If you do that, some guys just usually let off, but he's actually fully shutting it off as he gets down into the corner. Coasts behind Grant Turner and then throttles it back up, using the draft very effectively. I don't think I've ever seen someone quite save fuel that way, shutting it off on entry to the corner. That is an interesting one. It's always risky. You wonder sometimes if it doesn't turn back on, that would cost him big time, but Traylor seems to have it figured out, and again, utilizing Grant Turner's draft. Back up front, 91 laps now completed, and the battle for second is heating up. Chase Greer to the outside of Riley Gomes, who been running 3rd. I thought Riley was going to actually reel in Kenneth, but instead it's the rookie Chase Greer reeling in Riley, and he'll look to pick up that position as Joey running up top, maybe going to be 2 for 1 right here. And sure enough, Joey's going to sneak by on the outside, Jay as well. And oh man, I think Riley maybe just got a little tight right there. And so he'll lose, looks like 3, maybe 4 positions. Yeah, oh man, big trouble right here for the 9. He's going to pit. Riley Gomes not happy with the handling right there. So he's going to bring it down, strap 4 fresh tires on it. You go back out. So he is committing right here to a 2-stop. Next pit stop I would expect to be somewhere around lap 125-ish. Give or take 5 laps. Probably give 5 more laps for the 9 before he comes in, 125 to 130. And so he'll top off on fuel, take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and that should leave him still at least 1 set remaining as the 22 of Ryan Gomes makes his way into the box as well. He's got some damage from earlier, a little scuff on the side, no harm, no foul. And so now we'll see if this starts to trigger the round of pit stops. Kenneth Redinger still out in front. You got to wonder, when does he go in? You know he's not going to be able to do a 1-stop. At least not with the pace that he has been running so far. Led just about every single lap since we restarted this 3rd stage. Chase Greer up to 2nd. I think everybody at this point, except for the 2 guys in last, in this case David Traylor and Grant Turner, have committed to a 2-stop. And actually, you see Grant coming back out now. I think he may have called it off and decided to pit. Wonder if these guys just felt like the strategy just wasn't going to work anymore. And we'll have a good idea right here. No, I mean, David's still saving, so yeah, to tell you what it is right here, David Traylor is still out on track. Grant Turner, though, I believe he did decide to pit, unless he were to have some trouble. And right now, as it sits, Grant is currently, looks like about 2 seconds back. So maybe he did. I'm not really sure what happened to Grant here. I don't think he's actually pit yet. In fact, I'll let you know right here as we take a look at what the data's showing on it. And yeah, no pit stop here from Grant Turner. So he must have just had some struggles or started saving some more fuels. He has fallen back, and now, Justin Parham looks like he is going to pit. And so here we go. The cyclist pits. Actually, he's coming out of the pits right now. But the cyclist stops, continues here as the 19 comes out. We'll see if this draws his teammate in. John Bell with a little bit of trouble as well on the top line right here. And you see, ooh, man. Does a really good job of holding on, but I think just makes some contact with the outside wall here. He looked really, really out of control. And here you go. Yeah, and when I say really out of control, I don't mean in the sense of spinning. Just, I mean, look at this thing sliding way up the track. Doesn't even give him a chance, really. Once he gets into the wall, bounces him off. And now he does look in control. That's a heck of a save right there. That could have been a lot worse and potentially brought out the caution, but it doesn't. We stay green. And again, still no move yet from Kenneth Redinger. Joey Hickox back in second. Jay Stinson third. Chase Greer now has fallen to fifth. So this continues to be the battle of the guys who have saved their stuff more. As Chase will jump in line behind these guys. We'll see if that tries to maybe entice and pull him into pit road early. Still not quite at the 100 lap mark just yet. Again, I think that final fuel window is going to be right around, my safe guess would be 30, probably around 30 to 32 laps worth of fuel. So Grant Turner, all the guys that we saw saving, David Traylor, they're going to have to stay out to probably at least around lap 108 in order to have a chance. And as we look at the track map here, Traylor is still maintaining, it looks like, just under half a track worth of distance between him and the leader from getting lapped. And again, if this is a one stop for him, then I 100% think this strategy works out. The only thing I think that hinders this, assuming that he does indeed make it to the lap he needs to make it to right here, is if he has to save anything on that second run, I think that's where it's going to come back to bite him. But how cool would it be if we saw what would be the only race of the season come down to a fuel strategy like this? And I can say in my time of broadcasting, I have still yet to see someone pull off a fuel strategy as crazy as this one would be. But Traylor seems committed. He's got an interesting strategy about it. So we will see here if he can pull it off. 100 laps now officially in the books. Kenneth Redinger still up front again. You got to expect that pit stop here, man. I would think here within any lap from now. And again, no way these guys can make it a one stop here unless they were able to go about another 10 laps or so. And so Kenneth, I would expect to bring it down. And I'm going to say the next 3 laps. As looks like John Lynch and Robert Dudley going to battle. Dudley having a good run right here, up inside the top 5. And looks like Matthew Dyer wants a piece of these guys as well, as he will have to jump to the inside. We know how good Dyer is at any of the 2-mile ovals we head to. No surprise to see him get the win last week at Michigan. 1.5 miles. He's had pretty good speed here as well. As there goes Parham on the new tires. Man, look at the difference in lap time. In fact, we got to do a little comparison right here. I mean, this is, look at that. Just goes flying into the corner. These guys don't even have a chance. And again, that wasn't for position yet, but that shows you just how much of a speed new tires versus old tires is. So here we go. That's not quite the way I wanted to show it. Here we go. Look at the lap times. Focus on Justin Parham. So it looks like when he first came out with new tires, somewhere around a 31.2. Actually, he got all the way down to a 31.1. Compare that to your leader, Kenneth Redinger, of 32.8. So, I mean, if you look at new tires to old tires, it's right around a 1.5 to 2 second fall off per lap. That is a big, big difference. And Kenneth Redinger is losing a lot of time right now to the guys who have already pitted. And I'll tell you what, I think the short pit strategy may hold some weight here tonight. Normally we don't say that. But man, the amount of time that you make up on new tires, especially if you're going to be taking them twice, I really like this call. But we'll see if Kenneth somehow, some way is saving to try to make it on fuel. Then maybe he throws whatever I just called out the window. David Traylor still currently going for the strategy that he's been trying to make work all night, and he is still holding on to the lead lap. Grant Turner is as well. Grant Turner, the other man, trying to save fuel, but just don't think it's really working out too well right now, as he is going to be in danger of going a lap down and probably about 5 to 10 laps from now. Again, Traylor still pretty far ahead, so if you figure if they were both saving the same amount of fuel, then you got to assume Traylor's doing it better. But if Traylor isn't saving as much, then at the same time you wonder how well it's going to work. But I would think he's pretty confident about it right now. Again, for anybody that missed it earlier, take a listen to how he's doing it. Gets into the corner full throttle, shuts it off, lets it roll for, I would say, about a quarter way through the corner, and then turns it back on and gasses it back up. Trying any sort of strategy that could get him the win here tonight so that he can have a chance to move on to the round of 8. Meanwhile, up front, Jay Stinson has now taken the lead. That's because Kenneth Redinger brought it down to the pitch. Joey Hickox followed in suit. You saw Joey had actually caught up to the 24 truck a little bit those last couple laps and follows him into the pits. I think that was a good call. Gets into his box clean. And we'll see if the 3 truck here can come out either in front of or really, really close to Kenneth Redinger. And that could be its own battle for the lead here by the end of this thing. Jay Stinson, oh, trouble. Yellow flag is out. And man, oh man, this is going to change some things up big time. Looks like it's Billy Davison in the 88 that has come to a halt on the back straightaway. Gets it refired and back going, no damage. as he's going to drive it off track. And now he'll start to finally roll again. And if you're David Traylor, not the strategy, well, not strategy, I guess, not the caution, I should say, that you wanted to see right there. As this will put everybody on an even playing field, to a degree, actually. Still going to be close on fuel. We'll talk about that in just a moment. First, let's figure out what goes wrong here to bring out the caution. Again, Billy Davison, the man involved. And so there's the 88. He was already spun around at this point. What happens here? Oh, there's going to be contact between him and DJ Madish. You see DJ in the 25 running on the inside. And does DJ just get loose? Truck's going up the track. More or less looks like he gets tight. And yeah, just runs up into the left rear of Billy Davison. That sends Billy right around. 25 gets into the wall, but was able to continue. And the 88 comes to a stop, and that's what draws the caution. And again, I got to think here that DJ just got really tight. It certainly didn't look like there was any ill intent meant by that. And this will tell the story as we go on board. Trying to throttle back up. Oh, yeah, man, the truck just gets tight. I mean, you see he had the wheel at almost a 90-degree lock. And at a certain point, actually, when you get the wheel turned too much, it actually sends you more straight up the track than it did if you turned a little bit less. But just natural habit as a driver, you're trying everything to get it to turn, and just wasn't going for him. As we go and take a couple more looks at this one here, Billy Davison. Let's take a look from the blimp cam. And he was actually stopped there for a little bit, or it spun quite a few times before it drew the caution. As if it would have spun a little bit more off track, maybe we stay green there. As there's a contact for DJ into the wall before he continues on. We'll get one more view of it here from TV1, as that was when he had already spun. And there's the spin. And around he goes about 3 times as he comes to a sliding stop. Tough break for Billy Davison. Just not one of the playoff guys, but out here minding his own. And fortunately, that will cost him some track position, as it probably will DJ Madish. And so 107 now of 140 laps complete. And when we go green, it's going to be right around 110 laps complete here. And man, this is going to be so close on strategy. I think if you top off, you're definitely good to go. If you don't top off, it's going to be a little close. A lot of guys, though, getting the wave around, they won't be able to top off. And like I said, that caution did not come out at quite the most favorable time for some of these guys. So, I mean, to tell you what, it actually kind of worked out for Traylor, even though he was saving fuel. Getting that caution when he did is now going to shuffle him all the way up to the 4th position. Grant Turner as well, currently sitting in 5th. John Bell going to be the last guy to try to get a wave around out of all these trucks that are trying to. And so now things are going to start to get a little bit chaotic and a little bit crazy. Only 2nd caution for incident here of the night. The other 2, of course, were for your stage breaks. But at least for the guys that know they're going to be good to go on fuel, for whoever is good to go on fuel. Again, we think that mark is right around 30 to 32 laps. And when they go green, it's going to be, I believe, 31. So if you top off on fuel, I think you're good to go. And I'm really surprised here that Jay and some of these other guys choose not to. They might have some more information than I do. Further back, looks like that was Matthew Fritz, I believe. He's going to come in and top off. I like this call for the 29. Nope, take that back. That was Riley Gomes in the 9. Similar looking color scheme. And the 18 of Blaze Richardson as well. And it looks like right now, Riley Gomes being scored back in 12th. In front of him, Keith Prince in the 03. Speaking of, Keith was trying to see if if he was ever able to get any of his laps back. So far, not seeing anything just yet. We'll take a look when he gets back out on track. So Jay Stinson and Sam Boutwell going to be the 2 playoff drivers leading us back to green. Row 2 is going to be Matthew Dyer and Grant Turner. Row 3, David Traylor and Zach Stevens. And then the long single file line behind him of all the guys that decided to come in and take 1 extra lap of fuel. And you got to wonder to yourself, could that potentially be the difference? Going to be exactly 31 laps to go when we go green. Last race in the round of 16. If you're just tuning in, you picked a good time to do so. These guys, it's going to be a crazy restart right here. Sam Boutwell, we talked about, needed probably a good solid top 10 finish to secure his spot in that round of 8 next week. And right now he's in prime position to try to hold on. Here we go, back into the restart zone. 3rd restart of the night for incident. Green flag is back in the air. Jay Stinson with a really good jump. You saw this time he chose the inside, and it works out really well as the 31 works his way up the track. Boutwell and Dyer stay side by side into one. Nobody is going to get the edge just yet. As we zoom this out to the blimp cam, everyone from behind, not the most organized restart due to the single file line that we had. David Traylor tucks in second on the inside. Jay Stinson still leading the top. Sam Boutwell arcing it down, looking to get a little speed though. How about Matthew Dyer with the big move on exits, able to take the lead with confidence, and now the 28 finds himself out in front. And we have now seen every single one of the 3 Grandstand Racing drivers in the field lead at least one lap here tonight at Kansas. A very dominant performance, but how cool would it be if Matthew Dyer could go back-to-back with a win here tonight at Kansas? Sam Boutwell not going to let him slip away too easily, at least not yet. The 47 chooses the bottom. Jay Stinson continues to commit to the top. Grant Turner, Zach Stevens in the middle. Justin Parham trying to crawl his way through this traffic as well. He wants a shot to go battle his teammate. And 112 laps now completed. Everybody still fighting for position. Turner's going to split it 3 wide in the middle here. Trailer on the bottom. Jay Stinson up top. Things are going to get a little close right here. And they all keep it together as they stay 3 wide down the backstretch. Who's going to give first? Trailer looks like he's going to bail out just a little bit. Tried to probably slide in line just behind Grant Turner, but Parham wouldn't let him do it. And as Grant slides up the track there just a little bit, going all the way down to the apron now, trying to get in front of Jay Stinson to see if he can pull away with the other top 2. And as we have now completed 113 laps, and this restart as they stay double file. How about a little crank it up here at Kansas? Here we go.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And we're going to hold that thought. Caution is out. Oh, we got a big one this time. Turn 3. Multiple trucks involved. DJ Madish is destroyed. And this brings out your 5th caution. And any questions that we did have about fuel, throw it out the window. Now everybody will be good to go. Oh my goodness. The 25, the suspension just, demolished. That thing is done for the night. As he, I believe would have already had to use his fast repair. But let's go take a look at what brings out your 5th caution of the night. All right, going down the back straightaway here just as we started the Crank It Up segment. And, this starts actually in front of DJ with Riley Gomes and Billy Davison. Man, we saw Billy caught up in the last incident. The innocent victim looks like this time maybe going to be the instigator of it. Couldn't tell exactly from that first view, so we'll take a different angle of it. That's Riley on the bottom, Billy Davison up top. Riley a playoff driver, Billy not. And that's just not really sure what Billy was doing right there. Not sure if he had an issue or... maybe he was trying to come down to get a little bit of a side draft on the 9. And it is netcode right here. Watch this. There's what would have been the contact. But, you see the 88, he keeps coming down either way. And so that has to make me think that these two are going to make contact nonetheless. You see the left side tires for the 9 here are just about at the seam. And the netcode's here. But watch the 88 truck. Still comes down all the way down to that seam. So I think you got to assume that there's contact, whether they netcode first or not. And then big hits for Kenneth Redinger. DJ Madish. Fritz slides in with nowhere to go. Robert Dudley as well. Keith Prince was able to sneak around, it looked like. But that is such an odd-looking wreck. Let's go on board with Billy Davison. Like I said, unless he had some sort of technical issue here that turned his wheel to the left. Yeah, I'm really not sure. That's a really, really odd-looking crash. Interesting if we had word from the admins on exactly what that was. But we'll know post-race here tonight. But, man, that is a tough break for some of the playoff guys. Fritz, Riley Gomes, having good runs, looking to play a little strategy here, and comes to a halt after this contact. And he goes for a slide. Blaze Richardson makes some contact. Boy, the 22, though, of Ryan Gomes. He did a nice job of getting through this one. That was a close call. Let's take a ride on board here real quick, actually, with the 22. Watch this. He sees it in front. And actually, just now is able to see it in. Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what, that was going to be a big, big hit for Ryan Gomes. And then has to miss. Billy Davison coming back up the track right there at the end as well. As we will take one more look at this from the gearbox of Billy Davison. Saw the sparks fly out of the bottom. That was after. I'd assume that was just part of the crash. And Billy slides up. Lucky to not get any more contacts. He holds the brakes just for drifting down. So as we go back live, DJ Madish in the pits, but up front, it is Sam Boutwell being scored as your leader. Matthew Dyer had it when we had the caution. I guess not. So Boutwell with the lead. Matthew Dyer in second. Grant Turner now back. Well, I should say up, but currently sitting back in third. Up 5 from where he started. Jay Stinson in fourth. Joey Hickox fifth. Zach Stevens back in sixth. David Traylor seventh. Justin Parham eighth. Kenneth Redinger in ninth. And Richard Hurst rounding out your top 10. So we'll see if we indeed get the 1-to-go signal this time, as we got official word right there on the tower. 25 going to be 24 as we cross line right here. Laps to go. And now it's at that point. Time is running out at Kansas. The chance to make it to the round of 8 for a lot of these guys is starting to diminish. Some of them going to need a miracle. Some of them just going to need a little bit of help right here. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. Boutwell, how cool would it be? Again, wasn't able to secure a win last season. Hasn't been able to secure a win yet this season, but consistency got him to the playoffs and a good run last week. And so far right now, it's been a good run here tonight. Could potentially get him on to next week. And man, oh man, if he could get that first win, I know he would be pretty pumped up about it. We'll have to see if he can get the job done here tonight. Actually, if we would have had a little bit less time on that replay, we would have tried to get a word here with 47. We'll go ahead and save it, see if we get another caution after this. As much as I hate to say it, I don't know if that's going to be our last caution. We know sometimes when you get these late cautions, they tend to breed more cautions. But the racing overall tonight has been very, very clean. It's been fun to watch. These guys have been doing a heck of a job. It's been fun to commentate. A lot of guys say it makes, of course it makes my job easier when these guys don't wreck as much, but it makes it more fun. I can't really commentate cautions, but I can certainly commentate good racing, which is exactly what we have gotten here tonight. And we are about to get even more of it as the pace truck pulls off. Could be the final restart. Everybody good to go on fuel. A sprint to the finish. 23 laps to go at Kansas. Green flag back in the air. Big jump for Sam Boutwell as he pulls out the lead. Grant Turner does a nice job as well. He'll get in front of Matthew Dyer as they go down into turn number 1. The rest of the field all fighting for track position. You saw Joey Hickox make up a couple positions on that start. Now up to 4th. Looking for more. Can he make a move right here on Matthew Dyer? Sam Boutwell trying everything to break up the draft. Got to be careful here. If he lets Grant get to his outside, he's going to be in some trouble. And back up front, he's going to do just that. Sam maybe has to throw a block here. Doesn't do it. Sam wants the bottom, so now Grant's going to take the top. Where does Joey Hickox come from? He's going to take it 3 wide on the bottom. Into turn 1, 2 guys trying to make the slide job work. Joey's going to get at least one of them. Can he get 2? And man, the 3 truck was wheeling it off the turn. Gets around Sam Boutwell. What a pass. That might have been the pass of the season. Joey looking to see if he can get the other one right here. Is going to try the exact same slide job right in front of Grant Turner. Grant putting the pedal to the metal. Going to try a little bit of a crossover down the front stretch. He's got the momentum. Joey tried to block. Nothing doing as Grant will jump back to the bottom. But now Joey's got the preferred lane in the top. We'll see what Grant decides to do if he tries a little bit of a slide job of his own. Joey trying to keep the power down, but now Grant's going to get him right back. A lot of good racing. Joey again, though, with another run. I don't think he's quite going to have enough to make a slide job work this time around. Grant, though, playing the defensive line. He's going to actually take the bottom. Joey probably wanted to get the top right there. So now the 3 truck will have a little bit of a run to work with down the front straightaway. Grant trying to block. Joey says, okay, I'll go high. And again, this could be track position for the rest of the race. So everybody fighting as hard as they can for it. Joey back to the top. Matthew Dyer in the mix as well. Kenneth Redinger, David Traylor, Justin Parham, all these guys trying to get back to the front. And at the back of the field, we got a little bit of chaos as well. Some racing back there between Riley Gomes and looks like that might be, I believe that's John Bell in the 05. And so now Grant with the lead. You got to wonder, did Joey use up his tires just a little bit too much as Grant starts to pull away as they drag race out back. We talked about this guy all night. Are you surprised that it's Zach Stevens now fighting for second? He may not be in the playoffs, but he wants to win, and he's got the speed to match everybody in the playoffs. And so Stevens will get clear here of Joey Hickox. Now he's going to set his sights on Grant Turner. Is Joey going to make another move, though, here to the inside of the 21, trying to see if he can get another slide job working here. Wow, boy, Joey sent it deep into the corner right there. Really loose. He actually gets alongside Grant Turner. I don't know how Joey made it stick. Zach Stevens watching these two. We'll see if he splits him. Watch for Joey to try another dive bomb right here on Grant Turner. Grant sees it, trying to hold him back. He's going to be able to do so. Joey maybe clear by just an inch. He's not going to take it. And the 3 actually driving really well on the inside. Again, usually you don't see guys be able to actually make progress the way Joey is on the inside, but he makes it work. And now this time he will drive right up in front of the 3 of Grant Turner. Grant going to try to cross him back over. Joey opening up the outside just a little bit. Grant looking for a side draft now on the right rear of Joey Hickox. Joey down into turn 1 on the inside, just behind Zach Stevens, still watching to see who's going to slip up first. And as Joey reclaims the lead, he sees some help coming from potentially out back. Jay Stinson starting to make his way through the field now as he is looking to get by Matthew Dyer. That'll be the battle for 4th. And all of a sudden, as these two battle it out, Zach Stevens waited patiently in the spotlight, and now he is going to jump in front of the 3 truck of Joey Hickox. He tried, but he's going to get stuck on the inside. So Joey will stay to the outside. Zach going to stay very respectful of the playoff drivers here. Going to see if he can get around here and get clear by enough to feel comfortable. And he gets a nose just in front again. Will he slide job Joey again? He does. Washes really high. That allows Joey to jump back to the bottom line. Matthew Dyer going to stay up top. Telling you, watch that 28. I think he's trying the same strategy that the 21 is right here. Just staying patient. But, man, I'll tell you what, it looks like we're on a dirt track right now with the amount of slide jobs that we have got going on. One after another. Joey Hickox seems to have them figured out the best right now. And so finally, well, I take it back. Zach Stevens going to try another one here to the bottom. I was getting ready to say, guys, finally maybe starting to settle down here just a little bit. Zach not quite able to make it work. He'll get side drafted as he gets sucked back by Joey. Matthew Dyer still waiting patiently in the tracks of Joey Hickox. Stays on that top line. Zach Stevens with another big move. He's going to commit to it. Slides up. Able to get clear, but again, Joey with a crossover to the bottom. Matthew Dyer, no move yet. He continues to work with that 3 truck, though, it seems like. And Zach Stevens now going to take the top. Joey Hickox in the middle as he now migrates to the top. And here comes Matthew Dyer. He's got some clean air on the bottom. Zach Stevens with another big run. He's going to split the 3 truck. 3 wide. Bails out of it now. Matthew Dyer falling back as that outside had a big run. And the long straightaways here at Kansas allows you to do that. A little bit of tandem draft is what we saw right there from the 21 and the 31. And as they come now to 13 laps to go. 180 miles an hour as they cross the start-finish line. 184 as they get down into turn number 1. And everybody keeping it clean. Oh, we got one up in the wall back here. That's the 19 of Justin Parham. Was trying everything to get back to the front. And looks like he may have pushed it just a little bit too far. That's going to cost him a handful of positions as he now falls back behind the 90 of John Lynch. That puts him back to 11th, looking like he is going to need a caution if he wants any chance at winning this race. And Sam Boutwell falling all the way back to 16th. Things have not went the way of the 47 here late. And all of a sudden what looked like was going to be a good finish for the 47 is looking a little bit sketchy on whether or not he's going to make it to the round of 8. Remember, was sitting top 5 in points coming into this race. We'll see what he's looking like leaving it. Here's Matthew Fritz giving a bump draft to Russ Kilgore down the backstretch. Russ will dive to the inside of Robert Dudley. All eyes still fixated, though, on the front battle right here between Joey Hickox, Zach Stevens, and now Jay Stinson. Looks like Grant Turner and Matthew Dyer falling back a little bit as Kenneth Redinger was able to get by. A lot of hard racing going on here late, and we're going to be coming to 10 laps to go next time, and all of a sudden, looks like Jay Stinson might be the fastest truck on the track. So as Jay catches up here, we'll see how he decides to get around Zach Stevens. I think at this point, Zach is going to gear himself up very carefully for the move he makes. He knows that he's got a lot of pressure out back from the 31 truck. And if these two get 1-2, both of the Hickox Racing drivers, that is, how do you settle it out? I mean, if you're Jay, we talked about he's conservative. You know he doesn't want to put his teammate in a bad spot, but both of these guys trying to make it to the next round, they're certainly not going to just hand it over to one another. We could get a good old-fashioned teammate battle right here. But Zach Stevens, currently the meat in the middle of the sandwich, separating these two at the moment. The 31 of Jay Stinson, though, is continuing to apply the pressure. And what they don't want to see is this man right here getting back up in the mix. We saw how much speed he had when he was at the front. And now Kenneth Redinger has closed it up to about 4 truck lengths to the back bumper of Jay Stinson. And right now, throw all of your top 9 under a blanket. In terms of all a second or less, in terms of a gap between all the 9. Boy, that was a tongue twister. Definitely didn't say that one quite the way I wanted to. But up front, Joey going to be coming to 8 laps to go. Each lap, though, right now has to be feeling like it's about a minute a lap. I mean, he's got so much pressure out back trying to do everything perfect. And I'll tell you what, as a driver, this is pretty much what it feels like looking in the rearview mirror. This is all you see. You see Zach Stevens swerving back and forth, just trying to get in the head right here more than anything of Joey Hickox. Trying to make him overthink it, maybe overshoot a corner, make a mistake. But Joey's staying very disciplined to the high line. It's going to be tough to get around the bottom at this point in the run. But Zach Stevens with another big run doesn't take to the inside. Instead, gives a little bit of a push to the 3 truck. He'll be coming to 7 laps to go. This time, Kenneth Redinger has now arrived on scene. He's at the back bumper of Jay Stinson as it looks like Zach Stevens is going to make a look to the inside here of Joey Hickox. Quickly has to get back in line as there was nothing going there. The rest of the field all roaring by at 184. Been full night now for a while. Track temp has cooled just a little bit. Down a couple degrees from where we started at 76 now. And so each lap, grip picks up just a little bit more. Oh, Zach Stevens is going to overshoot the cushion. He gets into the wall. Jay Stinson has to go by on the inside. That's going to cost these 3 all sorts of time, and you got to wonder, does that give Joey Hickox the breathing room he needs to bring this thing home for 6 more laps? I don't think so. Jay Stinson was able to now, I'll tell you what, I think Jay was faster than both of these guys. I think the trouble for Jay was trying to get around Zach Stevens. With that slip up and him able to get by, I think Jay is going to arrive on scene here in about a lap and a half to his teammate as he currently sits 3/10 back. And if he gets there, it's just going to be a question of how does he go about handling it. You can't count Kenneth Redinger out just yet. 5 laps to go now at the line. We've seen Jay earlier. End of stage 2, battling Riley Gomes, was in the same position. You got to wonder, what did he take from it? Has he learned anything here for how he's going to try to track down his teammate this time? A little bit of dirty air on the nose of the 31, but both guys on the top and a lot of draft down the straightaways. You got to wonder, is it going to be enough for Jay Stinson? Kenneth Redinger trying something a little different. He's working the bottom. And you see he catches up in the corners, but the straightaways, Jay Stinson pulls all the gap that he needs to. Jay's going to go all the way down to the apron. Has it down. He got about 0.5 off. It's not a lot of time, but it's something. And now he's starting to drive it in a little bit deeper. Joey lost a little grip right there through 1 and 2. And so as they go down the back straightaway, Jay Stinson now officially going to put it just under 0.3 of a second. Going to be coming to 3 laps to go this time. Jay driving for all he's worth. I think he's got to enter a little bit higher on this turn. I know he's trying to get clean air on his nose, but it's killing his momentum down the straightaway. Joey Hickox stays up top, does not want to give any draft that these guys don't need. Kenneth starting to fall back a little bit. So for the moment, it's a battle between your 2 leaders. I'll tell you what, if there's anybody you got to battle, you like when it's a teammate because you know a little bit more of what to expect. Zach Stevens trying to close back in on this. I'm telling you, this is going to come down to the final lap. Under 0.2 of a second now for Jay Stinson. Just continues to slowly reel in his teammate. You got to wonder if Joey's maybe just used his stuff up a little bit early, and now it's starting to fade. Jay Stinson back to the bottom. Now he's on the tailgate of Joey Hickox. Joey, what is he willing to do here for a win in the round of 16 for the playoffs? Wants to move on to the round of 8. Has had a very good season, multiple wins. And what can he do right here? Jay Stinson lost a little bit right there through 1 and 2. So he'll try to get it back. And you see Joey took a little bit of a different approach right there. Through 3 and 4, I'm not sure if it might have been trying to take the air away from his teammate. In fact, that looked like the line that Jay had ran. And it worked. Falling back to 0.3 of a second now is Jay Stinson as we take the white flag. 1 lap to go at Kansas. Kenneth Redinger back to the bottom. He's going to try a slide job here on Jay Stinson. Can he make it work? He can't. 24 sliding up. Has to check up and bail out of it. But as they drag race, this is all Joey Hickox wants to see. Final time through 3 and 4. Didn't lead through any of the stages here tonight. Not as many laps as he wanted to at least, but here at the end he found it. He's got speed, and we'll see him in the round of 8. Joey Hickox wins it at Kansas. And he is going to be excited about that one. Kenneth Redinger brings home 2nd. Jay Stinson 3rd. But how about it? We've seen him win at 1.5 miles this season, a super speedway. And now he gets it done in the playoffs. Once he took the lead at the end, had to battle for it a couple times. Once he got it that final time, never relinquished it. And I think the key to this race is going to be right there at the end. Towards the end, I should say, when we saw just that little bit of a mistake from Zach Stevens where he got into the wall, and that caused all the chaos that we saw. Man, Jay gave it his all, but just ran out of stuff, and they're going to do 3-truck burnout right here. Matthew Fritz, by the way, finishing inside the top 10. As they'll let their teammate get the spotlight as he burns it down here at Kansas. I was just getting ready to say, I think Nancy's going to be pretty happy about that one. Sure enough. Says, congrats, son. So happy for you. And here we go. Going to see the triple truck burnout. 29, the 31, and the 3-truck all going to burn it down. That's a pretty cool one. All 3 teammates in the playoffs. 2 of them with a great finish here tonight. One of them with a top 10 finish. So as they continue to burn it down, we'll take a look at your finishing results here for the night. Joey Hickox gets the job done. He is your winner at Kansas. Kenneth Redinger second. Jay Stinson finishes up in third. It's going to be Zach Stevens in fourth. Chase Greer in fifth. Grant Turner in sixth. Matthew Dyer finishes up in seventh. Justin Parham eighth. David Traylor ninth, with Matthew Fritz rounding out your top 10. John Lynch back in 11th. Riley Gomes in 12th. Blaze Richardson in 13th. Robert Dudley in 14th. Ryan Gomes in 15th. Sam Boutwell finishes back in 16th. Russ Kilgore in 17th. Richard Hurst finishes back in 18th. Rounding out top 20 tonight, John Bell in 19th and Ronnie Morrison in 20th. Keith Prince finishes 21st. DJ Madish finishes in 22nd. Billy Davison rounding out the field in 23rd position. All right, we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. We'll be right back. Stick with us at Kansas. All right, back live at Kansas Speedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Jay Stinson. Jay, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, Austin? All
right, well, a good finish tonight. Looks like Kenneth was able to take away second on the last lap. But overall, you get a teammate in victory lane. You get a good finish for yourself. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. It was a good, fun race. I dropped down and talked to Kenneth for a minute. He just couldn't let me have second. It was a good move, and anything I'd have done would have been just dumb considering where I was going to finish. So hats off to him. He made all that work down low, and it was a great pass there for the end.
All right, well, a good run here tonight. I mean, the only other thing I think I really have to ask you about tonight is, where did you find the speed late in some of these runs?
So a lot of it is just finding your groove there in the high side. That low is good for a little while, and then it just burns your stuff. So it makes you look faster, but just saving your stuff and wait for the right moment. So the high side just kind of kept the speed in and kept the tires, and I saved my stuff long enough to where later on I just look faster.
Certainly looked pretty fast to me. You're bringing home third, hoping to see if you're going to be able to move on to the round of 8 next week. Certainly looking like a pretty good chance with the finish here tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, absolutely. Always, man. We want to thank you, Austin, for broadcasting. I love going back and watching these things, and you do a great job, as everybody knows, so we appreciate you. I want to appreciate, say thanks to Manny Rays and Raymond for doing this and sponsoring the league, along with H&H and Blue Ridge and Flatwoods and SPINO and all those guys that get involved and help us do this. My teammates, of course, Albert's not here and Randy's not here, but Joey, Matt, just had a great time in the Discord. Very smart, We did everything right tonight. A couple of breaks went our way. A couple of breaks didn't go our way, and Matt fought back. And then Joey, great race. He was fighting that truck a little bit early, and he just found speed and then took off, and you couldn't do anything with him. It was so hard to pass, and he's such a good driver that, he earned the win. It was such a great win. Great job. He knew he was out if he didn't put on a show tonight, and he came and put a show on. So congratulations to him and two other people. Sorry, Nancy. I know you're out there. Hope you're feeling good. We miss you. We love you. And everything is just want to let you know that your boy brought it home. So, and then Mr. Hickox, thanks for watching as well as always. So just shout goes out to them. So that's it. Awesome. Sorry for being long-winded.
No worries. And I'll tell you what, Nancy was pretty pumped about it as soon as the race ended. Thank you for talking to us here tonight, Jay, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
All right, and now that is going to bring us to your second place finisher here tonight, Grandstand Racing's Kenneth Redinger. Kenneth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, you didn't quite make the playoffs, but we know you got speed. We saw you get the championship last season, and you found it here late at Kansas. Tell us about that last lap move you got there on Jay.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun racing with Jay there. He always can have a clean race with him. I was just trying to, I don't know who that was behind me at the time. I was trying to get him off my bumper because I was able to run the bottom better than the top line. So once I got him off my bumper, I was able to try to attack Jay there, and we had a good little battle there for second.
Well, looks like a pretty good run here tonight for a couple of your teammates. Matthew Dyer bringing it home 6th, Justin Parham 8th. Looking like we'll see at least one, if not both of them. Actually, yeah, should be seeing both of them here in the round of 8. Is there any way as a teammate, even not being in, that you can kind of go about helping them at a track that we head to next week?
I mean, the only thing I can do is if they're trying to get position on me is to be a little more forgiving and try to not roll over, but I'm not going to race them as hard as anybody else. So.
All right. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just shout out to Jay and Joey for putting the league together and running this thing every week.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And now that's going to bring us to your winner, Hickox Racing. Second time in the booth here tonight, and it's Joey Hickox. Joey, this is Austin. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jay put it into words perfectly. You had to come out and put on a show tonight. If we wanted to see you in the round of 8 next week, you do just that. How did you find the speed at the end?
Jason, he's really good at this place, and he was working with me from about 5 o'clock on this afternoon. We were talking about lines and strategy and everything, and then when he got behind me one point, he was telling me where I need to start cutting in the corners, and man, after that, I told him, I was like, all right, this thing feels good. Let's go get this thing. And cautions fell right for us, except for that one we got called a lap down. But then we got another caution. And big shout out to my teammate Matt. Dude, he destroyed himself to keep from destroying me in that last wreck. So thank you to him. And it was great, dude. I can't believe never won at this place in anything. So this is awesome.
Well, second mile and a half that we've seen you win on this season now. And we know momentum can be a dangerous thing when you got a fast driver that gets some late in the season. Now, next week we head to Las Vegas. It's a mile and a half, but a little different than Kansas. How you feeling about going back-to-back?
I love Vegas. That is it's a good fight for Daytona being my favorite track. Between Daytona, Texas, and Vegas are my 3 favorite tracks. I love that place. We led a lot of laps last year. I think we swept the stages last season. So I'm feeling pretty proud and can't wait for next Saturday night now.
All right. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, man. I got to thank all the sponsors, H&H Tractor Works. Thank them for being on the truck tonight. Flatwoods, Hunting Club, Manny Rays, Cemetery Designs, for everything Raymond does. I appreciate you, buddy. Blue Ridge Auto Group, Whosoever South, SPINO Designs, the Pit Stall, everybody who helps us put the league on. I got to thank my teammates, Matthew Fritz, Jay Stinson, especially Jay for this one. Randy Bonomi, who wasn't here tonight, neither was Albert Hewins, but got to thank them. Thank you for broadcasting this thing, man. My wife, my son for letting me do it. My mom and my dad for watching, and I definitely want to dedicate this win to my nieces in the hospital right now, going through some things. And Molly, we love you, baby, and you're gonna get better. And we'll see you when you get home, honey.
All right. Well, good run here tonight, Joey. Congrats on the win, and we will see you next week at Las Vegas.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All right, so that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at Kansas. A phenomenal race and a phenomenal win for Hickox Racing in the form of Joey Hickox. I hope you all did enjoy. Next place we head on Ghost Racing Network is going to be to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series Championship race. Been the full NASCAR season in terms of length, and it all comes down to Phoenix this Monday. Make sure you don't miss out on it. Thank you all so much for coming out. The NOMA Truck Series Round of 8 kicks off next week at Vegas. We'll see you then. Have a good night.